Heartwarming act of love. Billionaire's son discovers life-changing joy after mother's death. Ethan Wright stood in the grand entryway of his family's mansion, the weight of silence pressing down on him like a thick fog. The rooms that once echoed with laughter were now hauntingly vacant. His mother, the heart of their opulent existence, had passed away, leaving behind nothing but a gaping hole that no amount of wealth could fill. A sports car gleamed in the driveway, but its shine felt like a mockery of his sorrow. Invitations to extravagant parties cluttered the table, but he had lost the desire to attend, as if joy had been washed away with her last breath. Days morphed into a blur as Ethan wandered through the echoing halls, each step a reminder of her absence. She had been the one to inspire kindness and community involvement, believing that love could mend even the most broken hearts. One afternoon, while stumbling through a dusty attic, he unearthed a treasure trove of letters lovingly penned by her hand. The words danced off the pages, her passionate dreams of bringing food and supplies to struggling families, her hopes of building playgrounds for the children who played in the shadow of their wealthy neighborhood. "Your kindness can ignite change," she had written, and with every letter, a match was struck within him, igniting a fire he didn't know he had. Ethan felt a swell of determination. In those moments, amidst the remnants of a life well lived, he promised to honor her legacy. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Ethan took his first step into the world beyond his gilded cage. It felt foreign and intimidating, yet somehow right. He volunteered at local shelters, his hands trembling as he served meals to families he had previously overlooked. The aroma of warm soup mingled with laughter, a strange symphony of solace and community. Conversations revealed their struggles but also their resilience, their strength igniting within him the urgent awareness of the chasm created by wealth. People who had been invisible to him now stood vibrant and alive, their spirits as colorful as the banners of hope he had once thought meant for others, but the deeper he waded into this new world, the more intense the conflict grew within him. His father's voice rang loud, echoing corporate priorities over compassion, profits over people. In a heated discussion that shook the cobwebs off stagnant family values, Ethan found himself torn between loyalty to his father and a fierce commitment to the community his mother had so deeply loved. In those moments of realization, seeing the light in the eyes of those he had served, Ethan recognized that true wealth isn't about sprawling mansions or luxury cars. It lies in the connections we forge, the love we share, and the lives we touch. With every action, his identity shifted, yet questions loomed large. Could he reconcile with a father whose vision clashed with his mother's ideals? Would his efforts alter the course of their family legacy? With a trembling heart, he prepared to confront his father, uncertainty buzzing in his chest like a live wire. This transformation was just beginning, and Ethan felt the first tremors of change rumbling beneath the surface. Ethan stood in front of his father's massive oak desk, the very symbol of authority that felt like an anchor tethering him to an existence he no longer recognized. His father was a man of few words, but the stern set of his jaw spoke volumes. The air between them was thick with unspoken tension, a chasm widening with every second. "Ethan, you need to understand that business is not as simple as you think. Emotions have no place here," his father said, his voice clipped and pragmatic. "But, Dad," Ethan's protests clashed with the impenetrable wall of his father's beliefs. Mom believed in giving back. She wanted to help those less fortunate. "If we can leverage our resources to help our community, I've built this family's empire through hard work and strategic decisions, not through charity," his father interrupted, hands clasped tightly. "What you're talking about is idealism, and idealism doesn't pay the bills." Ethan's heart raced. Idealism? This wasn't just a dream, it was his mother's legacy. It felt wrong to walk away from it all, to allow her light to dim in pursuit of the cold, hard facts his father cherished. I know that the world isn't perfect, Dad. But isn't that precisely why we should try to make it better? We can do more than just shower money on causes. We can build real relationships, engage with people. His father's eyes narrowed, and for the first time, Ethan sensed vulnerability beneath his father's steely facade. You think you can change things? It's not that easy. But it has to start somewhere. I've already volunteered at the shelter. People there, they have hope. I want. His father slammed his palm against the desk, and the sound echoed like thunder. This isn't a matter of your feelings, Ethan. You are heir to a fortune, and that means bearing responsibility. The community doesn't run on kindness, it runs on profits. The words hit Ethan like a punch. Profit over people. It felt like a betrayal. His world felt as if it were spiraling out of control, each argument with his father dragging him deeper into a conflict he never wanted to face. I can't keep living this way, pretending that those who suffer don't exist, Ethan said, voice trembling. I want to honor Mom. She raised me to care for others, to have compassion. His father's gaze softened momentarily, but it quickly hardened. Your mother was naive, son. You need to stop chasing fantasies and focus on what's real. They stood there, father and son, locked in a battle of wills. Time seemed to stretch, each second pulling them further apart. Ethan's heart ached at the thought of losing his father's respect, but something deeper pushed him forward. His mother's dreams flickered in his mind like the soft glow of candlelight. I won't give up, Dad. I'll fight for what she believed in, even if I have to do it without you. The words hung in the air, a combination of rebellion and resolution. Ethan stepped back, aware that he had crossed an invisible line. But with that act of defiance, a surge of clarity washed over him. As he turned to leave, he felt a strange mix of dread and determination settling in his chest. It was clear this was just the beginning. The love his mother had shared with the world was now his responsibility. Outside, the sun bathed the street in golden light, illuminating a path of possibilities. He could feel the weight of his decision, but he also felt the freedom that came with it. Ethan had started to step into his own life, and he knew it wouldn't be easy. But that was okay. Could he really make a difference, or was he merely chasing shadows? With renewed confidence, he set off to face the community, eager to connect once more. The question loomed large in his mind: what if the ideals he was fighting for held the key to healing not just the community, but also his family? As he reached the corner of the street, he caught sight of a smiling child, holding a soccer ball, laughter spilling like music into the air. What would it take to bridge the divide between his father and the life his mother envisioned? Determination surged through him, and Ethan resolved that he wouldn't stop until he found the answer. Ethan walked briskly down the sunny street, determination coursing through his veins. The warmth of the sun felt like a gentle, encouraging hand on his back. Today felt different. Today, he was ready to take the first steps on a path that could lead to meaningful change. As he approached the community shelter where he had volunteered in the past, he could hear the hum of laughter and chatter spilling out into the street. It reminded him of weekends spent at his mother's side, delivering meals and helping neighbors. Those memories tugged at his heart, a bittersweet reminder of what had been lost but also a beacon guiding him towards what could be. Inside, the smell of freshly baked bread mixed with the rich aroma of spices wafted from the kitchen, wrapping around him like a warm embrace. He paused at the entrance, observing the scene in front of him. Families gathered around tables, children darting in and out of the chaos, and staff members working tirelessly, blending hope with nourishment. Hey, Ethan! The energetic voice of Mia, the shelter manager, pulled him from his thoughts. She rushed up to him, her enthusiasm infectious. I'm so glad to see you. We could use an extra pair of hands in the kitchen. Some volunteers couldn't make it today. Ethan blinked, feeling a mix of excitement and uncertainty. Absolutely. What do you need me to do? Mia chuckled, already turning to lead him to the bustling kitchen. "Grab a few of those bags of veggies and get to chopping." Laughter filled the air around him, and as he started working, chopping carrots and bell peppers, he found solace in the familiar rhythm. It didn't take long before he slipped into a conversation with an elderly man named Mr. Carson, who was seated at the table closest. "Good day to be alive, isn't it?" Mr. Carson beamed, his eyes sparkling with joy. "Definitely," Ethan replied, a smile breaking across his face. "It feels great to be here." "Your mother used to come here, you know," Mr. Carson said, his voice full of warmth. "Always went out of her way to make everyone smile." Ethan's heart swelled with pride and sadness. She believed in helping people. "It's important." "Yes, it is. The light she shared hasn't disappeared, Ethan." The old man paused, and Ethan felt the weight of his gaze. "It's now up to you to continue that light." The old man's word struck Ethan deeply. He realized how much he had allowed his father's doubts to cloud his vision. He could make a difference. His mother's lessons resonated stronger than any business strategy his father preached. After an exhilarating afternoon, Ethan watched as families left the shelter with full bellies and smiles on their faces. It felt like a small victory, but even that felt monumental. As he stepped outside, the sunlight kissed his skin, and he caught his breath, exhilarated. But amidst the joy, a thought nagged at him. How could he introduce his father's world of business to this community? Could he truly blend the two worlds together? Ethan stood on the sidewalk, surrounded by laughter and life, but the uncertainty loomed larger now. Was he ready to take that leap? The excitement of possibility tangled with the fear of failure. But as that child from earlier ran past him again, soccer ball bouncing by, Ethan suddenly felt the weight of responsibility shift into something lighter. Maybe it was time to make the first move. In that moment, the vision of his mother's legacy took shape in his mind, a community connected through compassion and support, but also paved with sustainable resources. With newfound determination, Ethan turned toward the horizon, ready to discover new paths. But how would he convince his father that love and business weren't mutually exclusive? He took a deep breath, heart racing at the thought. This was just the beginning of a journey not only for his mother's dream but for his own. The next morning, Ethan awoke with a fresh resolve. Sunlight filtered through the curtains, casting a warm glow on the room. Today was his day. He had to start transforming ideas into action. As he dressed, he thought of what needed to be done, balancing both his father's world and the spirit of his mother's legacy. It wasn't going to be easy, but he was ready to try it. He made his way to the kitchen and grabbed a cup of coffee, appreciating the silence of the morning. The question gnawed at him: how could he bridge the gap between profit and purpose? Just then, his phone buzzed with a notification, snapping him back to reality. An email from his father popped up, bustling with business jargon about the next big project they were pushing. Ethan felt a flicker of annoyance but let it go. Today was about him. With a quick glance at the clock, he decided that he needed to check in at the shelter first. He grabbed his keys and set off, anticipation building in his chest. When he arrived, the shelter was alive again, but this time, he was determined to make a more impactful connection. Mia was in the middle of organizing donations when she saw him. "Ethan. Perfect timing," she exclaimed, waving him over. "We need to talk about next week's community dinner. It's going to be big, more families than ever. Can you help?" He nodded, feeling the surge of excitement. "Absolutely. What do you need me to do?" "We want to create a small marketplace on the side," she explained, her hands moving animatedly. "We could showcase local artisans and fresh produce. It could bring in a few more donations and help the families get access to better food." Ethan's mind raced. What if we create a partnership with local businesses? We could combine this market concept with sponsorships or maybe even offer meals in exchange for donations to keep it sustainable. Mia's eyes widened. "That's brilliant. You really think we could make that happen? Let us set up a meeting with those businesses, Ethan proposed. I can reach out to my father. He might have some connections that could help. Your father? You think he'll want to? Mia asked, her voice laced with a hint of disbelief. Ethan paused, heart sinking for just a moment. He has to understand that this isn't just charity. It's a business model that supports the community. It's exactly the type of project I think he could get behind. What's the worst he could say? Mia grinned, nudging him playfully. But who knows? He might just surprise you. Encouraged, he moved closer to the central table where families were gathering, their laughter mingling with the clatter of silverware. The warmth around him was intoxicating. He could envision a space where his mother's ideals of love and support meshed seamlessly with entrepreneurship. The afternoon flew by. Ethan met with families and listened to their stories, envisioning how the marketplace could provide them with not just food, but opportunities. A sense of hope blossomed in him. As the day wound down, he felt lighter, ready to face his father with a new perspective. But then another thought struck him. Would he be able to stand up to his father's skepticism? Ethan stepped outside, breathing in the fresh air with a newfound determination. The sun painted the sky orange as it dipped below the horizon, leaving a spark of light. He knew this was just the start. The intersection of love and business felt possible, but he was aware that many obstacles awaited him. What would be the hardest part? Facing the negativity, or challenging the love he held for his mother? With resolve burning in his chest, Ethan drove home, eager to transform his vision into reality. Little did he know, as he navigated this precarious path, life was about to throw him a curveball that would test everything he believed. Ethan parked his car and sat for a moment, gazing out at the tranquil street. The faint sounds of children playing nearby filled the air, reminding him that life still thrived outside his worries. He took a deep breath, pushing the weight of doubt aside. Tonight, he would call his father. Once inside, he shuffled through the mail on the table, the letters and papers a stark contrast to the vibrant ideas swirling in his mind. He couldn't help but feel the gravity of what he was about to propose. This was more than a business move, it was a bridge between two worlds he had fought to reconcile. When his phone rang, the contact name almost made him jump. It was his father. Ethan hesitated, then answered. Hey, Dad. Ethan. Good to hear your voice. Listen, we need to discuss the upcoming project. It's going to be a big one, his father said, his voice bursting with excitement but also the familiar corporate cadence that Ethan associated with expectations. I actually wanted to talk to you about something, too, Ethan pushed out, feeling the knot of anxiety in his stomach. Sure, what's on your mind? Taking a deep breath, Ethan dove in. I've been involved with some work at the local shelter. We're planning a community dinner, and I think it could be a great opportunity for a partnership with local businesses. It could turn into a sustainable marketplace, creating support for families in need. There was a pause on the other end, prompting Ethan's heart to race. Community dinner? A marketplace? His father scoffed lightly. You know this isn't how we operate. We focus on projects that can generate profit. This sounds like charity. Ethan felt his pulse quicken. Dad, it's not just charity. It's a model that blends business with community support. We can engage locals and still see financial benefits. It could represent a shift for our company, showing we care, actually giving back in a meaningful way. His father's voice dropped slightly, revealing a hint of the disappointment that always lingered. You know how I feel about these things. Emotions and business, it's a slippery slope. Ethan took a breath, wrestling with frustration. I wish you could just see the impact we could have. This is what Mom believed in. It's exactly what she would want us to do. The call fell silent until Ethan heard the soft intake of his father's breath. I miss her too, Ethan. But we can't let emotions cloud judgment. Have you thought this through? His heart sank, but he pressed forward. What if I set up a meeting with Mia and some local artisans? We can present it to you as a real potential. If you could just meet them. His father hesitated for a moment. Fine. But I can't promise anything. You know how this company operates. Ethan smiled despite the uncertainty. Thank you, Dad. That's all I'm asking for. Once the call ended, he felt a tumult of emotions wash over him. He had taken the first step, but would it be enough? He thought about Mia, the families at the shelter, and how vibrant their lives could be if they just had the right opportunities. He felt a flicker of hope mixed with the fear of failure clashing inside him. As he stood by the window, the world outside felt both exciting and overwhelming. What if this partnership worked? What if it didn't? The future suddenly seemed daunting, yet full of promise. With renewed determination, Ethan realized he wouldn't just be fighting for a project, he would be fighting for a way of life, a legacy. He briefly closed his eyes and found comfort in the memory of his mother's smile, urging him to push on, but just as he turned to put his thoughts into action, a knock at the door interrupted him. It was Mia, her face glowing with urgency. Ethan. You won't believe what just happened. Ethan's stomach twisted. What news could shake the very foundation of the plans they had just started? Tell me, he said, feeling the surge of adrenaline. You need to see this. It's about the community dinner. The weight of anticipation hung in the air. Something was brewing in their community, and he was about to find out what it was. Would it be the breakthrough he desperately needed, or another hurdle in his path to merging dreams with reality? Mia stepped inside, her eyes wide with energy, shaking off the chill of the evening air. I was at the shelter earlier, she said, barely catching her breath. You won't believe who came in. Ethan leaned against the door frame, his heart racing. Who? Mark. You know, the owner of that grocery store downtown. He wants to get involved with the dinner. He's talking about donating food and even linking up with other businesses to provide everything we need. Ethan felt a wave of relief wash over him. Mark was well respected, a solid name to have on their side. Wait, are you serious? That could change everything. She nodded vigorously, her enthusiasm infectious. He said he loves what you're trying to do. He wants to support the community, and this is an amazing chance for him to give back. Ethan's mind raced, picturing the impact they could make together. Inviting local businesses into this project wasn't just a dream, it was becoming a living reality. What did he say? Mia dropped her bag onto the table and paced a little across the room. He wants to meet with you and the team. We could coordinate with him directly, get a whole plan going. This could lead to more partnerships. Excitement bubbled inside Ethan, but a familiar tension nagged at the back of his mind. And what about my dad? He asked, pinching the bridge of his nose. If he sees this as just charity, what will he think? Let's turn it on its head then. Mia said, turning to face him fully. If Mark is involved, this is more than a charity effort. It's a business initiative that connects the community to local commerce. You can show your dad it's all about sustainable growth. Ethan didn't respond right away, weighing her words. Mia always had a way of framing things that made the impossible seem possible. Maybe she was right. If he could land Mark's involvement, they could present it as a viable business move, a project that encompassed profit and compassion together. Okay, he decided, straightening up. We need to talk to Mark before he changes his mind. Let's set up that meeting. Mia grinned, eyes sparkling. I'll call him. I'll even sketch out a preliminary plan on how we can present it to your dad. Ethan felt a rush of gratitude. They were in this together, both driven by a common goal. But amid his excitement, a shadow loomed. He was still tethered to the uncertainty of his father's reaction. Would he truly be open to this new direction? As Mia buzzed with ideas, Ethan absorbed her energy, allowing it to push through his own doubts. And you think Mark would consider helping out the local artisans? He asked, his thoughts flying down a new avenue. I think so. He supports local business, Mia replied. Plus, we need to show your dad that this community dinner isn't just about serving people, it's about creating a network. Ethan couldn't help but smile. The plan was too good. It could show the strength of what they could create when combined community spirit and profitable ventures. Just then, a thought crossed his mind. What about the families from the shelter? He paused, considering the bigger picture. We need to spotlight their stories, too. If we can give them a voice, Mia nodded. Absolutely. Let us make that part of our pitch. Their experiences can bring raw honesty to the project. The excitement in the room swelled, fueled by the possibilities. But as they mapped out details, Ethan felt a tiny knot of anxiety grip his gut. What if it all fell apart? What if they put everything into this, and it didn't work out? That uncertainty lingered, but it was outweighed by a growing sense of purpose. They were on the cusp of something transformative. Drumming his fingers on the table, Ethan glanced at Mia. I have to let my dad know about this meeting with Mark. He needs to see how much support we're garnering, but I can't ignore what he thinks either. He might still undermine us. What if we can show him that change is possible? Mia suggested. We have the chance to pave a new way, Ethan. He took a deep breath, letting her words sink in. Could this be the thing to challenge his father's perspective? But just as he contemplated the crushing weight of family expectations, his phone buzzed. A text from his father flashed across the screen, making him freeze. Need to talk. Urgent. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. What does he want now? Mia leaned in, sensing the shift. Whatever it is, you can handle it. Just remember why you're doing this. He nodded, determination setting in. If only he could make his father see beyond profit. With shaky hands, Ethan replied to the message, but an unsettling feeling began to gnaw at him. What if this call changed everything again? Would it clarify their shared vision or lay another wave of doubt on his future? As the seconds ticked away, Ethan's mind buzzed with worry. Would he be ready for whatever his father had to say? Deep inside, he knew one thing for sure: this journey was just beginning, and the outcome was still wide open. Ethan stared at the screen, his breath caught in his throat. He could feel adrenaline pumping through his veins, mingled with a thick layer of dread. What could his father possibly want that was so urgent? Mia watched him, eyes darting to the phone and then back to Ethan's face. Do you want me to stay while you talk to him? She asked softly. Ethan shook his head, his resolve toughening. No, I need to face this alone. He appreciated her support, but this was a conversation he had to navigate without any outside influences. Okay, Mia said, her voice laced with encouragement. Just remember what we're working towards. You can do this. Taking a deep breath, Ethan steeled himself. He tucked his phone into his pocket and made his way to the small living room. The warm light from the table lamp felt comforting, yet the growing tension in his chest was suffocating. He picked up the landline receiver and dialed his dad's number, his hands trembling slightly. As the phone rang, he rehearsed the words he might say, the lines he might draw. He had to assert himself while still attempting to connect. Ethan, his father's voice came through, gruff and commanding, instantly anchoring him in the moment. I assume you received my message? Yeah, Dad. What is going on? Ethan's voice faltered, reflecting both apprehension and the need to sound composed. I've been hearing some chatter about you planning a community dinner. Can we discuss this? His father's tone didn't waver, but the tightness hinted at something deeper beneath the surface. Ethan swallowed hard. It's more than just a dinner. I'm trying to bring local businesses together to support families in need. We've already started getting commitments. I understand that, his father interrupted, impatience creeping in. But it's charity, Ethan. It's always charity. When will you understand that you need to focus on your future? Frustration welled up inside him, but he forced himself to stay calm. What if my future is about helping others, Dad? This could lead to sustainable change, and it's not just for them. It strengthens the community, which is beneficial for everyone involved, including businesses. Silence buzzed on the line. Ethan clenched his jaw, desperate for his father to recognize the significance of what he was saying. The weight of familial expectations felt heavier than ever. I want you to succeed, his father finally replied, the edge softening. But you need to think practically. The business world isn't about appealing to emotions, it's about numbers. Maybe we can do both, Ethan replied, his heart racing. I'm tired of seeing people suffering, and it's time to make a difference. People are more than numbers, Dad. As he spoke, Ethan felt the walls he had built within himself begin to crack. Could this conversation open up a path to understanding? Just think it over before you commit to something that could ruin your prospects, his father said finally, his voice steady again. I don't want you to regret this. With a heavy sigh, Ethan replied, I'll think about it, but I'm not backing down. The line went dead, leaving him with a heavy heart. He hung up, staring blankly at the wall as the buzzing of uncertainty filled the space around him. Could he really find a balance between what he wanted to do and what his father expected? Returning to the kitchen, Mia's eyes lit up with concern. How'd it go? Ethan rubbed his temples, trying to shake off the fog that had settled in his mind. He's worried about it all going south, about how this could sabotage my future. Mia stepped closer, her expression empathetic. But it sounds like you stood your ground. That's a good first step. I don't know. His voice trailed off. What if he's right? What if this actually doesn't work out? Ethan, she said firmly, you have to trust in what you believe. This could be the moment everything turns around. Just imagine the lives you could touch. As the weight of Mia's words settled in, determination replaced doubt. He glanced at her, a flicker of hope igniting within. They were moving toward something significant. Together, something greater than himself, but beneath that hope, another thought nagged at him: could his father accept this vision, or would it tear them apart in the end? Mia's eyes sparkled with purpose as she began brainstorming ideas. Just then, Ethan's phone buzzed again, startling them both. It was a message, and as he glanced down, the words sent adrenaline coursing through his veins. I've heard about your plans. I want to help, but we need to discuss the details urgently. Ethan's heart raced. Who was this? What did they want? All thoughts of doubt fell away as anticipation rose. Whatever this new twist meant, one thing was certain: this dance was just getting started. Ethan's pulse quickened as he stared at the message. The words danced in his mind, fueling a spark of curiosity mixed with a hint of dread. Who was this person reaching out, and what kind of help could they offer? Who's texting you? Mia asked, her voice breaking through his thoughts. I don't know. It's a number I don't recognize, he stammered. But they mentioned wanting to help with the community dinner. It sounds serious. Mia leaned closer, peering over his shoulder at the screen, her brow knitted in concentration. Should you reply? It might be someone who can connect you with businesses or volunteers. Ethan hesitated, glancing back at Mia. She was right, this could be what he needed to elevate the dinner from an idea to a reality. Yeah. Okay, I'll message them back, he said, his fingers hovering over the screen. He took a deep breath and typed a response. Thanks for reaching out. I'd love to discuss it. What do you have in mind? The minutes stretched into eternity as he waited, his heart thumping louder with each passing second. Mia paced the kitchen, her enthusiasm so infectious that he couldn't help but feel a rush of hope. Then the reply came through, faster than he had expected. Let's meet tomorrow, 2 p.m. at the coffee house. I'll fill you in on the details. You're doing something important, Ethan. Ethan couldn't quite pin down why, but those words squeezed his heart a little. Someone believed in him. He forced a smile in Mia's direction. They want to meet tomorrow. Perfect. She exclaimed, her excitement wrapping around him like a warm hug. This could be the break you need. Ethan felt a slight buoyancy lift him, but it was quickly tempered as thoughts of his father crept back in. What if this opportunity led him further away from the path his dad envisioned? That nagging doubt began to gnaw at him again. Mia must have read the change in his demeanor because she stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Ethan, you can't worry about what your dad thinks right now. This is your chance. Own it. Breathless, he nodded, though uncertainty clung to him. How could he do this without risking his relationship with his father? He was torn between two very different parts of his life: the rigid expectations of tradition and the pull of something new and daring. Let us start planning for tomorrow. Mia began, her excitement infectious again. She grabbed a notebook from the counter and flipped it open, jotting down ideas. Ethan watched her scribble notes, a surge of gratitude washing over him. He needed her unwavering support now more than ever. What if we brainstorm the goals we want for the dinner? He suggested. Great idea. Let us think big, she said, her eyes shining with possibility. As they dove into the planning, ideas flowed easily: guest speakers, local music, even a charity auction. Laughter filled the kitchen, buoyed by an energy Ethan hadn't felt in a while. Maybe this was what it took: passion, teamwork, a true sense of purpose lighting the way. But just as their conversation hit a peak, Ethan's thoughts drifted back to the meeting set for tomorrow. Who was this person? And why did they care so much about a cause that, to his father, was just a distracting detour? His stomach churned at the weight of those doubts, mixing joy with anxiety. The blend made him restless. What's on your mind? Mia asked, her gaze piercing through the haze of his thoughts. I hope they're not just blowing smoke. I hope this isn't another dead end, he admitted. Then let us go into that meeting with confidence. Remember, you need to trust yourself. She urged. Ethan stared at her, a mix of determination and fear swirling inside. What if this was a pivotal moment, the beginning of something that could hold everything together, or the final push to unravel it all? The uncertainty hung heavy in the air, but he realized that sometimes, moments of doubt could lead to profound transformations. Could he truly embrace this path without losing everything he had known? As the night settled in, Ethan felt the walls of his doubts pressing closer. At that moment, he was torn between two futures, not knowing which one would lead him to joy. The stakes had never felt higher. As if he heard his thoughts, Mia suddenly said, "Tomorrow will be huge, Ethan. Just remember, every decision leads to a new path." Ethan nodded slowly, but inside, he worried. Could he change the course of his life without losing the people he loved? Tomorrow would reveal more than just details of the dinner. It would show him who he could become, and if that future would truly be worth fighting for. The sun rose with a soft glow, the warmth spilling into Ethan's room like a comforter pulling over him. The anticipation of the day ahead buzzed beneath his skin, mingling with the remnants of last night's anxiety. His eyes fluttered open, revealing the soft light filtering through the blinds. Today was the day, the pivotal moment he had been preparing for. He peeled himself from the sheets, the hello of a new day pushing away his doubts, if only for a moment. A quick glance at the clock made his heart race. Time was already moving, and he couldn't afford to waste another second. He needed to feel ready, resolute. In the kitchen, the smell of coffee wove through the air, lifting his spirits. Mia was already there, flipping through her notes with a smile that brightened the dullness of his fears. "Morning," she chirped, her energy a perfect counterpoint to the morning gloom that threatened to settle over him. "I took the liberty of printing out some info on local speakers and charities. I can't wait for the meeting." "Thanks," Ethan replied, pouring himself a cup of coffee. The bitter warmth enveloped him, providing unexpected strength as he educated himself about the possibilities. "Any last-minute jitters?" she asked, picking up on his silence. "Just the usual," he said, fiddling with the mug. What if I screw this up? Ethan, you won tea. You're doing this for a reason for the community. Just remember that, she said. Her eyes were steady, unwavering, the confidence in her voice steadied him. He nodded, letting her words sink in. He was doing it for the families that visited the shelter each week, for the kids who deserved a joyful gathering. That vision, sharp and clear, should be enough to drown out the whispering doubts. The hours slipped by, and soon, it was nearly time to head to the coffee house. He could feel the weight of anticipation pushing against his chest. Who was this person he was about to meet? Hopefully, someone who shared his passion, someone who could amplify his vision for the dinner. As they walked through the door of the coffee house, Ethan instantly recognized its bustling atmosphere. The aroma of fresh pastries mingled with the hum of laughter and conversation. He spotted a cozy corner table where a figure sat, a woman in her late 40s, her face earnest yet warm. "Are you Ethan?" she asked, standing to greet him. Yes. And you must be Rachel. So glad to finally meet you." A firm handshake sealed the introduction, yet Ethan felt the energy shift slightly. Rachel had a vibe that made him feel equally excited and nervous. "Thanks for meeting with me," he said, sliding into the chair opposite her. "I'm really hoping to get some ideas flowing for the community dinner." Rachel smiled genuinely. "I've heard about your plans, and I'm here to support you in any way I can. I believe in what you're trying to do." Her words warmed him. It was rare to find encouragement so freely offered. He felt the grip of hope tightening around his heart. "I know it's a big task," he began, "but it really means a lot to me. I want to create something special." "I can help with that," she said, her confidence illuminating the ideas she threw out, enhancing food donations, attracting volunteers, even reaching out to local media for coverage. Each suggestion lit up his mind, igniting a fire beneath his aspirations, but as they discussed plans, the conversation turned toward challenges: logistics, managing diverse expectations, and the risk of failure. Ethan's heart sank. What if everything fell apart? Would this moment of hope shatter? Rachel caught his hesitation. "Ethan, any worthwhile project comes with risks. But the payoff is worth it. Don't underestimate the change you can bring." He nodded, contemplating those words. It was so easy to focus on the negatives, the potential for disappointment. Yet, here he was, networking with someone who genuinely wanted to help him succeed. "I guess I just need to take it a day at a time," he said softly, trying to grasp the shifting tides of his emotions. Rachel leaned in closer. "Exactly. How about we set a timeline? For everything? And remember, I'll be by your side." As they laid down plans, Ethan felt a burgeoning sense of clarity. Hope wasn't just a flicker anymore, it was a flame, eager for oxygen to grow. When their meeting wrapped up, Ethan walked out feeling lighter, buoyed by the possibilities ahead. Mia awaited him with bright eyes, eager for updates. "What did you think?" she asked. "It's definitely what I needed." "She's got real connections," he replied, heart racing with excitement. As they walked down the street, a thought struck Ethan: what if this was only the beginning? What else could he accomplish if he kept pushing forward? But just then, his phone buzzed again, and a moment of dread sliced through his newfound confidence. He glanced down to see his father's name on the screen, a reminder that old expectations were never far behind. Was he ready for that conversation? Or would this be a moment when everything he fought for could crumble? Tomorrow, he would face not just the possibilities of the dinner but the necessity of choosing his own future. The sun rose over the neighborhood, bathing it in golden light. Ethan stood at the edge of the community park, its wide-open spaces reflecting the possibilities bursting inside him. The day was finally here, the day of the community dinner. He could feel the vibrant energy of hope wrapped around him, enveloping him like a warm hug as he took in the bright decorations and the smell of freshly cooked food wafting through the air. Mia was bustling around, double-checking arrangements with a team of supportive volunteers. "Ethan. We're ready." she called out, her voice ringing with excitement. The presence of families gathered, children laughing, and the buzz of anticipation filled the park, creating a lively backdrop for what was about to unfold. Heart racing, Ethan approached Mia, who was adjusting a colorful banner that read, "Community, together we stand." "It looks incredible," he said, his breath hitching with emotion. "Thanks. And we have people already coming. This is going to be amazing." Her radiant smile mirrored the warmth within him. Yet, a flicker of anxiety danced in his gut, reminiscent of the familiar tension with his father. What if all of this, every effort they had poured into the event, went unnoticed by him? Would he truly see the value these efforts held, or would it just be another one of his charitable distractions? But as Ethan glanced around at the smiling faces, his doubt began to melt away. This wasn't about them anymore. This was about embodying the love his mother had spread, about reclaiming a connection to the community and elevating spirits through genuine support. The dinner kicked off, and everything fell into place. Local musicians played cheerful tunes, families shared stories over freshly prepared meals, and laughter echoed across the park. As he mingled among laughter and gratitude, Ethan felt something shift inside him. The old Ethan, constrained by expectation, was fading, replaced by someone hopeful and driven. Then, the moment arrived. He spotted Rachel walking toward him, a mixture of pride and excitement lighting her face. "Ethan! You need to come see!" she exclaimed, leading him toward the heart of the gathering. When the moment came to share the stories of those who had benefited from community support, Ethan took a breath, feeling the surge of emotion swell in his chest. "Everyone, can I have your attention?" he called out, and a hush fell over the crowd. His heart raced as he began to speak. "This dinner is more than just food, it's about building a home, our home. We believe in connecting people, engaging, and supporting one another. It's my mother's legacy, and I finally understand what she fought for." His voice shook with raw emotion, but he pressed on, drawing strength from the smiles surrounding him. As he shared how these families inspired him to fight for something bigger, there were ripples of applause, the sound flowing through the park like sunshine. He looked into the crowd, finding familiar faces, the children who once seemed entirely out of reach, now vibrant and alive in his thoughts. A heavy thud echoed suddenly in his chest. Among the crowd, he saw his father, standing at the edge, arms crossed. A jolt of panic rippled through him. Would his father confront him, shutting everything down? But as the speech continued, he noticed something soften in his father's expression. After the speeches and joyful mingling, the sun began to set, casting a beautiful, shimmering glow over the park. Ethan spotted his father approaching him, slow and deliberate. Heart pounding, he braced himself for tension. "Ethan," his father began, voice unusually quiet. "Dad," he replied, catching the uncertainty in his own voice. "I wanted you to see I didn't come to argue," his father interrupted gently. "I came to understand." The weightiness of the moment caught Ethan off guard. "Understand what?" he asked, uncertainty pooling in his thoughts. "Understand the impact this has on the community. I watched as people celebrated, thanked you, and the love radiating from everyone here." There was a tremor of sincerity in his father's tone, and Ethan felt hope unfurl within him. "This is powerful. Dad, it's not just about the dinner." Ethan's voice trembled, but he pressed on. "It's about bringing businesses together to support the community. We can create a model that combines what I've learned in the corporate world with what Mom believed in, real connections." His father's eyes narrowed as if grappling with the shift occurring in him. "You really think that's possible?" Ethan nodded, a genuine smile growing. "You can't measure the impact of kindness solely by numbers. The connections we build matter. They can create sustainable change." For the first time in ages, his father seemed to consider this perspective seriously, the old walls starting to crumble. "You've driven your point home, Ethan. If we can leverage our resources to build bridges instead of walls, maybe there is a new direction for our family." The spark of hope ignited into flames of possibility. They stood there, father and son, the chasm that once threatened to divide them narrowing, and the bubbling realization began to weave them closer together. Ethan felt a wave of relief wash over him, as if a heavy burden was lifted. Can we work together? Bring businesses to support these families? It could change everything, he asked softly, vulnerability spilling forth. His father's gaze softened, and a smile broke across his features. Let us set a meeting. If you believe in this, then I'll do my best to support it. In that moment, the air was thick with mutual understanding. The path ahead was still uncertain, yet full of promise. Ethan felt alive with possibilities, no longer the boy caught in wealth's shadow, but a man walking confidently toward a brighter future, hand in hand with his father. As the park overflowed with laughter, music, and food, Ethan closed his eyes, letting the warmth of love from the community envelop him. His heart swelled, his mother's spirit guiding him forward. This was just the beginning, a rebirth woven into the fabric of both their lives. Now, this is your moment. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let us know you're with us. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the love and make a difference together.